Are you ready to improve your English? Well, let's get ready because I have some breaking news. Breaking news. Well, hello, all of my students. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Jay, and welcome to another English lesson here on the channel. We're going to have a great time today. I have another English from the news lesson. I'm going to read through today's article at a moderate pace. You're going to be informed and entertained. So I hope you're ready. Make sure you use the comments section to take notes. Let me know if this is your first time and where you're watching from. And get ready for some learning and some laughter. Let's dive into today's lesson and make sure you're paying attention because I'm going to have some quiz questions for you along the way. According to Fox News, Trump warns deranged scumbags during escalating Iran conflict. Oh boy. Trump is back calling people names when things aren't going his way. Okay, so a scumbag is a disrespectful term that is used in English to describe someone that you do not like. Okay, you call them a scumbag. It's something that you say to someone that you really disagree with and you think that they are no good. He called another person a scumbag. All right, let's get into it. President Donald Trump said the United States is destroying Iranian military capabilities as the conflict between the two countries intensifies. Okay, notice he said that they are destroying. Okay, so you can use this in a few ways. Destroying, causing something to be ruined or eliminated. Okay, to take off the face of the earth, to destroy, to ruin. The storm was destroying trees along the coast. Okay, causing existence to cease or stop, destroy. All right. Now, you can use this word also in a casual way by saying, oh man, my soccer team is destroying yours. They aren't killing them, but they are beating them in a competitive nature. Okay. They are destroying them 7-0 in soccer or football. Okay. So just depends on the context that you're using that word. It can be used in a competitive nature or to flat out destroy. Okay, I destroyed the ant bed. All right, destroyed or destroying. Intensifies. All right, intensifies. When something intensifies, it becomes stronger or more serious. Okay, competition intensifies during championship games. Intensifies. Okay, becomes stronger or gets more serious. All right. In a message posted online, Trump warned Iran leadership to watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today, describing the country's rulers as dangerous enemies of the United States. Okay, so someone that is deranged, they are described as being someone that is crazy. Okay, you must be deranged if you think I'm just going to give you $50,000. Okay, crazy, foolish. All right, someone that is not thinking clearly. You are deranged. All right, that's how we say that. The comments came as U.S. and Israeli forces continued a large military campaign targeting Iranian sites. Okay, targeting. All right, something that they were aiming for. They were purposefully trying to do something to a particular place, person, or thing when you target. All right, he targeted the attack at 3. So he was purposefully going to do something at 3 p.m. Targeting. All right. Officials said the operations are part of a broader effort to weaken Iran's ability to threaten regional stability. Okay. Stability. Stable. Okay. Regional stability. So to cause them not to function properly. When something is stable, it's flowing or going correct. When it's unstable, it's not operating properly. All right. Trump wrote that American forces have decimated key elements of Iran's military, including naval, air forces, and missile capabilities. All right. Of course, a military has to do with armed forces of a country. Military. The country expanded its military training programs. Military. Now, when we talk about a something being decimated, greatly reduced or destroyed. So this is synonymous with the word we learned earlier, destroyed, decimated. The drought decimated the local crops. Decimated. All right. Okay, now before we go further, I've given you about 5 or 6 words, okay? Campaign, destroying, intensify, military, and strategic. I mentioned strategic earlier. Of course, when we talk about something being strategic, it has to do with a strategy, a plan that someone has, okay? Let's look at this quiz question I want to ask you. Try to fill in the blank with the words that we have learned thus far. So number 1, the heat blank, the closer he moves towards the fireplace. Okay. Number 2, the company was very blank in its operations. Oh, and that was number 2. Number 3, the termites were unknowingly blank the house. Okay. So I have 3 questions here. I want you to answer them down in the comments section. Which word fits the blank properly? Okay. Make sure you leave me your answer and I will plan to check it when you do. Okay. Let's go back and finish the remainder of today's story. He also claimed that the United States possesses unparalleled firepower, and would continue striking Iranian targets if necessary. Okay? Unparalleled. Okay? Unparalleled, having no equal. In other words, he's talking like, our military is bigger and badder than yours. And if you try to battle us, we're going to win because our military has unparalleled firepower. Okay, so you might say her dedication to the project was unparalleled, having no equal. Okay, their business was unparalleled. It was far better than everyone else's in the city. Unparalleled. Okay, boy, Trump talks big talk, doesn't he? The ongoing conflict has raised global concerns about possible retaliation by Iran and further escalation across the Middle East. Of course, when we talk about conflict, serious disagreement or a fight. Okay, when people have conflict, we describe them as being contentious. Okay, contentious, conflict. Notice CON, conflict, contention, has to do with disagreement. Okay, the conflict, you might say, between neighbors lasted years. All right. Analysts say the confrontation could disrupt energy markets and international security if the fighting spreads. Okay. I know here in the United States, one thing that has happened is that gas prices have increased. Man, I paid $3.59 when about a week ago it was $2.19. And so this war is affecting the pockets of the citizens here in this country. Okay, let's continue. All right, I don't have breaking news. I hit the wrong button. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's continue. U.S. officials argue the military operations are intended to protect American interests and prevent future threats. Okay, so in other words, what this sentence is saying is that the United States is doing this to look out for itself and to stop other people from causing harm to others in their country. That's what that sentence means in this article. However, critics warn that continued hostilities may deepen instability in the region and increase the risk of wider confrontation. In other words, more trouble is on the horizon. If this continues, this is basically saying more problems is going to come out of this. Okay, so when we talk about hostilities, okay, acts of fighting or war, hostilities. Okay, so you might say the ceasefire ended several weeks of hostility. Okay, hostility. Woo! Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts remain uncertain as world leaders call for restraint. Okay, and of course, restraint has to do with self-control, holding back action. In other words, there are people in the world that want this to stop. The referee showed restraint during the argument. Okay. World leaders call for restraint and renewed dialogue to prevent this crisis from expanding into a broader war. Okay, so they're basically saying this could be the beginning of many other fights if this is not concluded quickly. Okay, expanding, meaning it can get larger, it can get bigger, it can cause more problems elsewhere. So this has been going on for a couple of weeks as of the recording of today's lesson, and who knows where it's going to go and how it's going to end, but I will do my best to keep you informed and teach you English from this particular event. Okay, let's get back to this article and read it through without stopping at a faster pace, okay? I shortened this article, as you can see, because most of us know what's going on, and this is what's being reported as of today. So I do want to not bore you by talking about it all the time. So I shortened this article for you, okay? President Donald Trump said the United States is destroying Iranian military capabilities as the conflict between the two countries intensifies. In a message posted online, Trump warned Iran's leadership to watch what happens to these deranged scumbags today, describing the country's rulers as dangerous enemies of the United States. The comments came as U.S. and Israeli forces continued a large military campaign targeting Iranian sites. Officials said the operations are part of a broader effort to weaken Iran's ability to threaten regional stability. Trump wrote that American forces had decimated key elements of Iran's military, including naval, air force, and missile capabilities. He also claimed that the United States possesses unparalleled firepower and would continue striking Iranian targets if necessary. The ongoing conflict has raised global concerns about possible retaliation by Iran and further escalation across the Middle East. Analysts say the confrontation could disrupt energy markets and international security if the fighting spreads. U.S. officials agree the military operations are intended to protect American interests and prevent future threats. However, critics warn that continued hostilities may deepen instability in the region and increase the risk of wider confrontation. Meanwhile, diplomatic efforts remain uncertain as world leaders call for restraint and renewed dialogue to prevent the crises from expanding into a broader war. Well, all right. Okay. So we'll stay abreast or up to date as this proceeds. Hopefully it will end well in a short time in the near future. But in the meantime, we're going to keep improving our English. So make sure you take 2 new words from today's lesson. I gave you about 15, and use them in a conversation to yourself or to someone else as you're trying to strengthen your English. If you're intermediate or advanced, you should be using 3 to 5 words, okay? Make sure you watch today's lessons twice, once with the subtitles on and once with the subtitles off, as this will strengthen your comprehension. If you've gained some value and you're not a subscriber, I hope you would subscribe. Maybe consider becoming a channel member, as I have hundreds of free resources here on the channel to help you improve your English. Also, you can easily like and leave me a comment from where you're watching from. That really excites me to know that I'm helping you. Well, with that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you get some rest so you can join me on my next English lesson. I'll see you then.